Electronic cigarettes burst onto the scene about 10 years ago and quickly became so popular among young people, the Surgeon General calls teen vaping an epidemic. Users suck on a mouthpiece, which heats liquid nicotine into a vapor that is inhaled. Initially, manufacturers claimed e-cigs would help adults quit smoking. The bigger result, however, teenagers, many of them non-smokers, picked up the vaping, enticed by sweetly flavored nicotine like Berry Burst in bright packaging resembling candy wrappers.
Vaping in teenagers is something that is causing harm to our kids, and we want that message to be loud and clear.
Since e-cigs are relatively new, little is known about their long-term impact, particularly on youngsters. Health officials, though, are sounding alarms about a spike in breathing problems and lung damage among teens after vaping. 4 cases in Minnesota, up to 12 in Wisconsin, 6 in Illinois, and at least 1 in Florida. Chance Amarata rushed to the hospital with a collapsed lung.
It felt like I was having a heart attack, and it was insanely scary.
Chance says his doctors told him he had a condition made worse by vaping. Now on Instagram, he declares nicotine is rotting our brains and destroying our bodies, adding how many more kids are going to have to get hospitalized for us to stop. Another teen, Dylan Nelson, was placed in a medically induced coma after vaping, according to his brother.
Trauma that he's caused to his lungs is significant.
While doctors can't confirm it yet, they believe these acute, aggressive lung injuries appear to be caused by e-cigs.
We recognize that it is not a result of infection, like viruses or bacteria. It looks more similar to injury from an inhalation of some kind of a caustic substance. The body is actually reacting to something that's been exposed to or deposited along the lining of the lung.
Isn't that shocking? Well, CBN medical reporter Lori Johnson is joining us right now. Lori, how many teens are involved in this thing?
Well, recent studies, polls show about 5% of teenagers, that's about 1 in 20, who admitted it, Pat.
What is the deal? They're getting nicotine, except it's through a pipe instead of through a cigarette?
That's right. This is an e-cigarette, and see how easy it is to hide. So parents, be on the lookout for a little contraption like this. A lot of folks have never seen it. And then this is the liquid nicotine that you put into this. And this little contraption here cost $40, believe it or not. And it was the cheapest one they had at the store. They had them for $75. This liquid nicotine costs $20. And it's very sweet. And to answer your question, what's the appeal? It's extremely delicious. It's very sweet, and it's very good. It tastes a lot like candy, and there's a little bit of nicotine in it, so there's a little bit of a kick to it as well. That's why the kids like it.
Well, how come this stuff is so dangerous?
Well, it's really interesting because remember, for so long we were wondering about cigarettes. Are they dangerous? They seem like they might be. And then years later it was proven. I think we're on that same path now with these e-cigs. What we're seeing now, there's a new research done by Duke University and also Yale that was just completed last year that showed the chemicals in this liquid nicotine, the propylene glycol, and the flavorings, especially when you heat them and vaporize them, can cause serious lung damage and damage to the airways. Now, we know that the propylene glycol and the flavorings are in our processed foods, but our gut can handle them better than our lungs and our airways because our lungs and our airways are so much more tender. Our gut is a little bit tougher and can handle these substances. Also, with teenagers, their bodies are not fully developed yet. Their lungs and their airways really don't become fully developed until they're in their 20s. So they are particularly at risk. And now, in addition to the CDC looking at this, the FDA is looking at the links between seizures and e-cigs. So I think we're going to be hearing a lot about this in the years to come.
Right. Are we looking at permanent damage? These people can actually, they're risking death with this stuff?
Well, that's a great question, and that's the big unknown because there isn't very much research done on these e-cigarettes and the liquid nicotine that you put in them. And so we're going to be seeing that what type of short-term as well as long-term effects, we just don't know.
Lori, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen,